Most men never pass the torch. They hand their kids money, they hand their kids advice, and sometimes they hand them a lot of pressure. And then they wonder why the next generation is drifting drastically. Out for a walk today thinking about these kinds of things, and I was thinking about legacy and what real legacy is and how it's not handed over. I talk about that a lot. Legacy is built through years and years of work together, and so is passing that torch. You don't just one day pass a torch. And I notice that now more than ever because I'm finally seeing how my kids are carrying their weight, right? They're tired, they're working hard, they're still learning life's lessons a lot, but more importantly, they're still showing up. They're showing up for their kids daily in lessons and teaching. And as I watch them, I really kind of realize more and more how important the most important things are. Those most important things, the things that I can still do. I can still teach, right? I can still teach my grandkids how to carry weight. And I can show that with quiet strength. I don't have to do that by boasting or doing a lot of different things. So their kids grow up knowing what a steady parent really looks like, what that steady lesson is all about, how to be calm under pressure. That's what passing the torch really means in my book. It's not a speech. It's not a checklist. And it's really just a lived example. So the first thing that I think is the most important is show them what steady looks like, right? So that's really the first way that you can pass the torch. It's real simple. Let them watch you carry the weight. And when you carry that weight, you're doing it without drama. You're doing it without raising your voice. You're just showing them what calm and steady looks like as you do it. You know, my father didn't lecture. He lived it. And why that's important is, you know, obviously he got up early, he went to work, he did the things that a normal dad's supposed to do all the time, right? But he did those things whether he felt like it or not, and you never heard him complain, not once. More importantly, I knew he was a man of his word. He kept his word no matter what, even when it cost him. He stayed super calm, even when things got steady. When I felt like he should be getting upset, he never did. So we learned from watching him more than anything else. More than any other way, we watched him and learned. My kids are kind of doing the same now. You know, they've got kids of their own, and they're little ones that are, you know, just beginning to learn. And then some my oldest granddaughter, she's 7. But the real key is, you know, even when they're exhausted, even when they feel like I just can't today, right? Or I'm just overloaded, they're still present, and that's important. It's really easy to check out. And staying in the fight all day, every day, that's crucial, and it's good to see them do it. So a practical step that you could take, you know, this week, you know, kind of pick one, what you would consider a hard thing that you usually complain about, that you really don't want to do. Take that task and do it quietly, and let your kids see you do it without the fanfare, without the complaints, without the, you know, the whining or even the facial expression. Right? Number 2, give your kids real responsibility. Don't wait until you feel like, oh, I think they're ready. Giving them some meaningful responsibility while they're still young can go a long, long way to making them feel as if they're part of the family in a new way that they haven't been before. Now, my dad did that with me. 8 years old, I was driving tractors and had a ton of responsibility, even when he was off working. He gave me and my sister real responsibilities on the farm, the things that really mattered. And we learned that making mistakes into those conditions had consequences. And so those consequences taught you to be persistent. It taught you to be, you know, to go through the process, take as long as it needs to get it done and do it right. And now I can start to see this lesson being taught with my kids to their children. And sometimes it's small ways, but that's fine. You know, letting them help with very simple tasks, hey, goes a long, long way, you know, because it gives you an opportunity to encourage them in doing things, especially even those messy things that they may not want to do, encouraging them to do those things that are hard, messy, difficult. Those little challenges start to come in their way. And I want you to take that practical step too. Give your kids one real responsibility this week that actually matters to the family. Let them feel the weight of that safely, because really that's how they learn to carry it later on. These little lessons early on start to pave the way for that. The third thing would be to teach them that struggle is not an enemy. And struggle is really part of life all the time. It's not something to be avoided. It's something that you want to take on, head on, and do it first. Because then they'll start to realize this is just something that you move through in life. It's part of it. It's going to be there. And you just deal with it. I'm a Gen X, and as a kid, I learned that the hard way. You know, when we fell, we scraped our knees. There wasn't anybody around to pick you up most of the time. You know, you just did it yourself. We figured it out one way or another. My father let me struggle because he knew that's where the lessons were built. That's how I was really going to build strength in myself. And like I said before, my kids are learning this right now. You know, they're letting my grandkids struggle a little bit, you know, to come through these things, because that's how they know they're going to experience life. The small challenges that they face now won't have to become very big challenges later on in their life. And it allows them, like I said, but to encourage them in a time where these challenges are fairly small and inconsequential. And later on in life, those will become more and more consequential. So a practical step that you can take is this week, you know, when your child struggles with something that's, you know, obviously age appropriate, resist the urge to rescue them immediately. Ask the question, what do you think that you could try right now? In a very calm voice. Let them feel that comfort and calm. Stay present with them. Stay calm and steady with them. You know, not in this super soft, loving voice either. But the key thing, let them do the work. Let them figure it out. So when I say passing the torch, you know, again, it's not something that just happens all of a sudden in one event. It's really about handing them success slowly, bit by bit. It's about showing them how to carry the weight with quiet strength, with clarity and love. Because your sons and daughters are watching. They're learning more from how you live more than from what you say. So start today. Let them see you carry your load, nice and steady and calm. Give them some real responsibility. Teach them that struggle is really part of becoming strong. That's how legacy is passed. Not in grand speeches, but in a daily example. Comment one way you're going to start passing the torch this week down below. I'll read every one of them. Get grounded, step by step, stone by stone. We'll see you next week.